security. 300 houses will be constructed at RVE, comprising of 3-bedroom, semi-detached and 3-bedroom detached houses. The plot sizes at RVE are generous. Mortgages and flexible payment options available to qualified applicants. Rush now and own a house in Ghana. For more information, contact Pastor Joe Kissinger Anochi on 0790-479-3019. You can also contact Reverend Francis Nunu on 0744-049-4271 and also on 0744-8054-930. You can also email him at fs.nunu@gmail.com. You can also visit us at www.royalvalleyestates.gh.com. RVE, a place you can call home.
I can feel heaven is over me. I believe in the risen one. I believe I overcome.
My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels exist? Is healing and miracles for today? Can I hear the voice of God? What's the secret to their success in ministry or calling? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, at 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
I was covered in sin and shame.
Revival City Church presents Rededicate 2017 with Reverend Dr. Nunu and Reverend Mrs. Nunu. This year, God's servant, the prophet Gideon Danso, all the way from Ghana, Empowerment Worship Center. Last year was full of testimonies, and you wouldn't want to miss this year's edition. God is about to rededicate all that concerns you. Save the dates. Wednesday 20th to Sunday 24th September 2017. All happening at the Revival City Church, Unit 16, 1 to 11 Willow Lane, Mitcham, CR4 4NA. Seasonal word, the prophetic and pure worship with God's trumpet, Nathaniel Bassi from Nigeria. Also on the worship bill, City Praise, Minister Angela and Colina Archipia. Wednesday 20th through to Sunday 24th September 2017. Time, Wednesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, 6:30 p.m. to 12 midnight. Worship night with Nathaniel Bassi on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Then we crown it all on Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Contact 077-54-382-831. Rededicate 2017. Come and experience God on a whole new level.
Hallelujah. Con como no amamen tu mendo. Alamodoya singi safari. Alamodoya singi safari. Menza rewe mensubio jamonga tofu menza rewe mensubio jamonga iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini shishe inti mutofu mensubio jamonga iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini shishe inti mutofu mensubio jamonga onya menza rewe mensubio jamonga tofu menza rewe mensubio jamonga iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini
Welcome.
mensubio jamonga iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini shishe inti mutofu mensubio jamonga. Iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini shishe inti mutofu mensubio jamonga iyo wodosi awodo baningile nyamini shishe inti mutofu mensubio jamonga.
This is Starr Radio UK. 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 This is Starr Radio UK.
Good morning, Papa Conayo, Moro, Digia, the Kupro, Pema de Abasio, Digipema de Nimco, Digipema de Demo, Digipema de Nimco,
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. 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 This is Starr Radio UK.
Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. 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 Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the finest Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo. Adekwe kuta madode na adekwe o. Alome mano kuna bagumulo.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Evening and welcome to the Big Questions program. Thank you everyone that's tuned in already. And for those of us that are tuned in, please do invite your friends to join in. And I'm just going to go through the studio line hotlines for those who want to join the conversation. So that's 020-8133-2257. And US and Canadian number is 001-718-303-2737. To text us or WhatsApp us, it's 075-3966-1744. And to send us a tweet on Twitter, it's at Starr Radio, so that's STARR, then R for Radio, ADIO UK, and email us on info@starradiouk.com. So the topic today is the changing roles of women in the African Caribbean community, and we'll be going through exactly what makes the African Caribbean woman. It's a very subjective profile, and everyone will have a different view of what exactly makes up the African woman, and it'll be interesting to explore everyone's different views and get an idea of which credentials people believe makes the African lady. And as an African lady myself, I think this is a very good topic to address and to get the conversation started. We're going to go for a quick break, and when we get back we'll be going straight into the topic.
Revival City Church presents Rededicate 2017 with Reverend Dr. Nunu and Reverend Mrs. Nunu. This year, God's servant, the prophet Gideon Danso, all the way from Ghana, Empowerment Worship Center. Last year was full of testimonies, and you wouldn't want to miss this year's edition. God is about to rededicate all that concerns you. Save the dates. Wednesday 20th to Sunday 24th September 2017. All happening at the Revival City Church, Unit 16, 1 to 11 Willow Lane, Mitcham, CR4 4NA. Seasonal word, the prophetic and pure worship with God's trumpet, Nathaniel Bassi from Nigeria. Also on the worship bill, City Praise, Minister Angela and Colina Archipia. Wednesday 20th through to Sunday 24th September 2017. Time, Wednesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, 6:30 p.m. to 12 midnight. Worship night with Nathaniel Bassi on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Then we crown it all on Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Contact 077-54-382-831. Rededicate 2017. Come and experience God on a whole new level.
Hallelujah. Lord, I need
Hi, my name is Captain Tete. Join me this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. as we delve deeper into today's miracle healing with my guest on Starr Radio UK.
The IWFT team presents Footprints on Starr Radio UK with your host Oscar Bimpong every Thursday at 7 p.m. Starr Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in London.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Starr Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people. Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Program brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Program this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And for those of you that have just joined us, the topic today is the changing role of the African woman in the Afro-Caribbean community. And if you are watching us on Facebook, please do share this video. Tell a friend, tell a friend. So I'm just going to introduce the topic again, which is the changing role of women in the Afro-Caribbean community. And we'll be exploring different areas and looking at how the traditional view of the African woman has evolved in society with the modern dynamics which we do face nowadays. And I also have a special guest joining me today. We've got Frank Davies with us. I thought it would be interesting to get the male perspective on this topic. And Frank is a very good guest to have to speak on this. How are you, Frank? Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I guess not too good as you describe me, but all the same, we will be able to manage and see what we can do. So, hey, Laura, thank you for inviting me to this. For those people who have been watching Big Questions, we're changing the room. The women are taking control. All the big questions, so there's a bit of reversal, changing role, which actually fits into the topic that we're looking at.
It's very ironic.
Yeah, because I used to present, and I still present it sometimes, but we are now doing. We see how powerful the women are becoming, and how
we've always been powerful.
Yes, it's only that I mean we didn't know. A lot of people didn't know how powerful you people were, but again, you people are stepping to very powerful positions, and good to be on your show, to be a guest on your show.
It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
So we'll be going through different aspects of what makes the African woman, and some may be more controversial than others, but all need to be looked at all the same.
Bring it on, and I'm going to be in the men's corner, and I'm going to be boxing all the women and other. Hey, women, I don't throw punches, you know. I'm a gentleman.
It's not a fight, Frank.
Yeah.
It's just a discussion. It's just a debate.
Yeah. Just a debate. But I think it's a very interesting topic, and I think we want to invite our listeners on board. The topic is very a bit it can be controversial.
It can become controversial.
It can become controversial, but all the same, nevertheless, it's something we must talk about.
Definitely.
It is something we have to face. We know culture evolves. I think last 2-3 we were so the rules that we traditionally perceived for women might be changing, but let's get on. And I think our listeners, I know they're very capable listeners, and they contribute, they help us a lot. So I know we're going to have an important discussion, a very important, right?
And just as a disclaimer, this topic is not only going to be looking at women and then we're going to move on. We will also have a show dedicated to looking at the traditional roles of men. So men are not being singled out. We will look at that as well in the coming weeks.
But all men are born of women.
Right, let's just pretend you can say that live on air.
Yeah. Oh, but that's a reality. We're gonna be real, you know.
It's the reality that men are bored.
Men are born.
Bored. Oh, I think you said bored.
No, born.
B-O-R-N.
Born
right.
of
that was
women.
A misunderstanding from me.
You are forgiven.
But then we do have people saying it's a man's world, which is it?
The man's world, the woman's corner. Is that what you want to say? Anyway, nice being on the show this evening. Yeah.
Thanks. Nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so just to start off with, we'll look at one of the, I'd say, mainly discussed topics in terms of the traditional African woman, and that is a woman who cooks. So we know that a lot of people say that the way to a man's heart is through food, through cooking, and one of the main credentials a partner or wife can have is to be able to cook for her husband, her partner. Now, I have no issue with that for people who particularly enjoy cooking and they actually want to do that. But when it becomes a case of almost a forced and essential thing that you must do, I don't quite agree. And I don't think that forms a strong basis of the African woman. I think whether or not you can cook, you can still be a very strong African woman.
Anyway, Laura, I think I wanna look at it this way. We first have to look at the subject of what are we talking about rules in the first place.
Okay.
Because we need to understand what we mean by the rule for women and the rule that is changing, because the focus that we're looking at today is the changing rule of African and Caribbean women. Culture evolves. Wherever a community exists, there's a culture that goes and follows them. It could be something that they've learned, and it could be something they have come to meet. For instance, people will tell you when you go to Rome, do what Romans do. Which literally means that you've gone to meet a culture, practices at every location or wherever you've traveled or where you've migrated to. You're gonna be able to follow what is done over there. Others will also tell you, no, this is not how we do it back home. This is not how we do it in my village. This is not how we do it in my city. My dad, I grew up to know my dad ABC doing this, and therefore my mom was also doing this. I know you mentioned about cooking. Traditionally, people might think, or we might have heard like the statement you rightly put, that people think the way to a man's heart is through food, and the others that we don't want to go explicit on. When it comes to the subject of women rule, let me take it from this angle. God, in his divine wisdom, creates men and women differently. Okay? God created us differently, and therefore there are certain tasks that traditionally people viewed as those reserved for men and those reserved for women.
The key word being traditionally.
Traditionally, because in whichever way you look at, when you're talking about these subjects, you cannot talk about them in isolation. You always have to put a time frame. The context have to be applied. Because if you tell me if we're talking about when there were donkeys, when there were no cars, where there were no television, where there were no chainsaw machine are you getting me? Where there were no gas cookers, where there were not basically electric cookers and other thing. 100 years ago, you're looking at a different setting, and therefore the task that a man and women will perform will differ. Okay, will differ. So we cannot talk about this without looking at it from a contextual point of view. Within which context and time frame are we looking at? And that's why when you put the topic, the changing rule, we need to be able to look at what it was, how they're changing, what is impacting or calling for those changes. Okay, if we can do that, we can be getting somewhere.
Okay.
Because we need to also understand that these changing rules are being informed by certain actions, which is the way the society lives, and that again becomes part of our culture. The other thing I want to get clear, that let's not confuse tradition with culture. Most of the times people confuse the two, that tradition equals to culture. No, I disagree with that. What is culture? Culture is the way a group of people live. So if, for instance, I have a partner, we live in a community, we migrate to a different village, we mix with people, we bring our own beliefs, our own thing, we mix up with people. When you come ask me about my culture, the culture of that village, you're not going to exclude me. I now form part of that culture, although I might be coming from somewhere. Now, when you talk of traditions, you are talking of practices that are actually unique, specific to certain geographical areas. So you go to Igbo, there are some cultural practices. I use that word culture, but practices that are traditional, right? So whereas culture can be dynamic and culture is automatically, it evolves, traditional practices can be stagnant for some time, although we must call for changes in the bad ones. So let us not confuse the two. Okay, so
so you're saying that tradition can remain stagnant and doesn't change, whereas culture goes through more change and evolve.
I'm not saying it doesn't change. It doesn't change automatically like the way culture changes. Culture changes naturally because the way we live, the way we do things. Don't forget the definition of culture.
But then cultural attitudes, i.e. traditions, do not change automatically.
Yes, some practices within cultures do not change automatically. For instance, if you go to Igbo land and you take the way a chief is buried, that's a traditional practice. Okay, we know days back, most African chiefs, if you go to Egypt for instance, you can talk of when burial is taking place, they have children or their servants that are buried with them. That's a tradition, that's a practice. That practice today, we do not do them again. We've changed them. But culture in itself is dynamic. That one you do not. If the chiefs have said, okay, we will continue to bury people with our chiefs, you couldn't have done anything. Although campaigners and other certain things has forced those changes. People have protested. People have think it's barbaric. You cannot be sacrificing human. So situation forced those changes, but culture changes automatically. Okay. I hope you get it. It's a bit complex.
If we apply that specifically to the topic being discussed, what is your angle?
My angle is that we need to understand the context in which we're going to look at this topic, which is the role of women. So that if, for instance, the cooking that you brought, okay, if in a culture traditionally, 50 years down the line, my granddad, they say, well, it's my grandma who has to cook, right? That was acceptable at that point, at that time. But again, we're gonna look at what was my grandfather doing at that time to help my grandmom. If my grandfather was a farmer, was the woman involved in the daily activities?
I think I understand where you're coming from. We need to analyze the change from, let's say,
a contextual point of, perspective,
100 years ago to 50 years ago, and then 20 years ago to now. So looking at that timeline and exactly how the roles have changed over time. And as you've touched on, 50 years ago, your granddad would have been strictly doing the farming work, and your grandmother would be doing the cooking. But nowadays, because the roles have become so much more blurred, and there is a overlap between what both genders do.
The roles have become a bit blurred because our culture, our living. Again, I want to emphasize, culture is the way a group of people live, and it's very dynamic. So if traditionally I couldn't order takeaway, today I can order takeaway. So automatically I do not have to wait for a woman to bring me food. Whether the woman is at home or not, I can still get food to eat. We have situations where now men can cook, and we cook, and I do cook myself. So if we look what has enforced it, one, probably my partner goes to work. I don't have to wait for her to come back and cook when I'm hungry. Are you getting me?
Yes.
We all come back to work. We all come back from work. She's a human being. She's tired.
The role of the woman has changed. She's not consistently in the house. She's not just a housewife in most cases nowadays. A woman is juggling work, looking after the home.
So that's exactly what you point out. But the essence of it is that when we're looking at the changing role of women in the society, we can't discard those topics in isolation. Okay, and off air we're having a conversation, and we still know that some people still think that the ways they will look at women, especially back home 50 years, the way their fathers were looking at their mothers, and we should continue to keep that mindset going without knowing that the dynamics have changed. The women are now assuming, you on Facebook, right? You on WhatsApp. The woman also has to be on WhatsApp, isn't it?
That's so people determined to ensure that the traditional roles remain. That also tend to be wanting the woman to also work, be educated, be independent, be self-sufficient.
Okay, let's face it.
Does it all work together? That's the problem.
Let's face it. Those traditional settings, we don't pay bills, right? I don't need to ask my wife. Because we fetch water from the riverside, so there's no bill to pay to the river, right? We don't pay gas bills because we cook with firewood. right? But today, those things have changed. And therefore, even within a family setting, we need to bring in more money to be able to survive. Right?
And everyone has to be.
And I'm not saying that if you're a housewife, you are there saying, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. But I'm saying increasingly about 85% of families now have to see both man and woman working. Okay? So if that is the case where economic pressures are putting demand on the woman, you do not expect the woman to still keep the traditional roles.
It's not possible.
That they used to play. Are you getting where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
You can't expect them that cooking is the role of the woman again. Laying the bed is the role of the woman. Cleaning the house is the role of woman. Laundering work is the role. Women do it. That doesn't mean we should not support. Okay, it should not be a defined rule for that. This is a preserved and this must be something that a woman must do.
Women have had to adapt and move into the roles.
They have, because the
situations started to work.
The situation have pushed them.
So men also should be adapting and going towards roles which were traditionally seen as being for women. Looking after the home. Yeah. So it's something that the changing the way we live, which are now considered as culture, because again, I keep on saying, and I'll repeat this over and over again, no one should confuse culture with tradition, because that tends to be the confusion. Oh, in my village, this is how we do it. Hello, you don't live in your village again. In your village, this is how my grandfathers used to do it. Your grandfather didn't know what gas cooker was, right? In my village, this is how we do it, or this is how my grandfather, this is how my father used to do it. Please, it has changed. The times have changed. Are you getting me? So we're gonna be looking at the changing rules within the content. So if going forward, we're gonna be able to identify what is happening. Let's say if we talk of cooking, must men cook? Should men cook? Is cooking a preserve for the women? Very, very bold questions.
Those are the questions we want to ask and want people to help us answer them. I mean, I know what my answers are.
And the answers all differ across. So
exactly, they all differ across, and they have to. I know men who don't enter kitchen to cook. They will prefer to go
hungry
and wait, or they will prefer to go to the nurse. That is if they are lucky to have what I call it,
KFC.
a KFC or McDonald's next door. But some will also enter the kitchen and cook.
Yeah.
And if you want to ask, what will you eat, sweetie?
Some do it very willingly. Some might do it a bit more grudgingly because they have to, because their wife is not at home. For some, it's something they enjoy, something they want to do. And for some, it's categorically a no, something that they will not do at all. And then for those who do not want to do that role at all, they may have a wife who is working, looking after children, looking after the home. So I think that flexibility definitely needs to be there, because the ideal in a working relationship, I think anyway, is that there is a sense of working together and not necessarily having defined roles and being sensible for the circumstances and situation that you're in. If you can have strictly defined roles and that works for the relationship and you're able to economically survive that way, then that's fine. But if it doesn't work for you and it's putting pressure on the woman to do 101 things, then I don't think that works. And we will be showing a video later on in the show actually, which shows how women can be overloaded with different responsibilities, traditional responsibilities. The video speaks for itself, and I think our viewers will recognize the message we're trying to send across.
Lola, if before we get to the video, the other thing I want to emphasize is this topic is not a straitjacket for everyone, and it can't be, and it must not be. what I've come to understand is that actually the family affairs team did a very, very good issue where they're looking at the changing rules within a family. And for listeners, if you want to check out the podcast, they actually discuss the changing rules within a family, looking at the reversal rule between men and women within a household. Some of these things that we're talking about were dealt with over there. Auntie Mary and Auntie Lottie actually did a very, very good work on that. Now, we're not saying that, I am nowhere saying that if you don't know how to cook, when be cooking, and because some people were not brought up to, were not taught. Okay, but where I will come in and what I want to emphasize on this issue is that we must know that the roles that women use to perform what, especially for those of us who come from Africa and the Caribbean, the roles that we used to think wrongly, right, that these are like ordained, preserved, and must be for women.
Inflexible roles.
Those things, those mindsets will have to move.
So you said that those roles have been imposed wrongly. Some will argue that it's the right thing, and men and women were created differently by God.
I am not saying that. I'm not saying that they were being imposed wrongly. I'm saying that if you use the word impose, I'm talking about a mindset.
Okay.
That mentally we thought these are preserved for women to do. These are men. We are not talking about childbearing over here. There's certain things that God defined for women. I can carry a baby.
No.
So that is a child is something that is natural. But
role.
Things that are not natural, culturally defined, and traditionally, basically stamped and accepted, those are things that human beings will look at who a man is, who a woman is, and basically came out of a system of surviving. And naturally, the way men and women were made, or the way men and women are physically built, define certain rules naturally. But what I'm trying to say is that if those rules were defined at that time that way, doesn't mean they should be right today, because when we want to look at them, we're gonna go back to the context within which such definitions or such allocation of rules within the family setting took place.
The original roles which were defined were to ensure that the man and woman could survive together. Nowadays, survival is a different story, and there's different aspects to it. So as you touched on bills, bills were not a concern back 100 years ago. Nowadays they are. So it's just moving on with what evolutionary has changed. And then once our roles become more blurred and compromised, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think for some people they are considering that the fact that the roles are being reversed and becoming more blurred is not a good way to go.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing that the rules are changing, like we said earlier on. I just think that we're gonna mentally be able to adjust to know that we're not 100 years, 50 years. We're not in 1940, not in 1970, not in 1920, but we are in 2017. Okay, if I have a friend who I talk to over the phone or WhatsApp, why shouldn't my partner also have a friend and communicate with on WhatsApp? Are you getting me? It's all about time, right? We're all taking time when we are at home, isn't it? Now, if I go to work and come back, like we said earlier on, and my woman, let's say my partner also comes back from work, why must she be the default cooker and I cross my legs to watch TV? Why must she be the one who cooks?
The rationale behind it is that's the woman's role, but for me that rationale is not enough. It doesn't explain why somebody should be a default cooker.
Why? I mean, okay, that's what I'm saying. That my argument here, Laura, is that traditionally people might think that is what the woman role is.
Traditionally, the woman role is she shouldn't even have gone to work and come back. I don't have anything against women working. I'm all for that.
Okay, let me give you a family. Let me give you a traditional one sample of family. When they used to, when we're clearing like a virgin forest, naturally men carry out that activity, and what women would do, will go there, provide water, sometimes cook from home, send the food. Whilst the clearing of the land is going on, the women will be gathering firewood and all the stuff, right? So sometimes they even take the lead, depending on the culture, depending on whichever environment you're talking about. But generally, men used to perform or do very tedious work than women.
I wouldn't say tedious necessarily, I'd say manual. So they were doing the manual work outside of the home and the woman would be doing the work within the home. Now that has changed and both the woman and man are doing work outside of the home,
in certain societies.
Yes, in certain societies. Inside of the home, the same should also apply where both the man and women are doing the roles and doing the work that needs to be done inside of the home. Maintaining the home shouldn't just be the role of the woman.
No, I agree completely with you that maintaining the home should not be something that only a woman should do. So the question is, do I come home, there's no food, why should I wait whilst I can start cooking before she comes? If I don't know how to cook, that is different. Now let's get it. If I don't know how to cook, that is different.
And what if the lady doesn't know how to cook?
Okay, then the two of you gonna help each other to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna learn. But if I don't know how to cook, I should be able to. It's also just common sense that I should be able to make effort to let my wife, my partner, or whoever teach me. Because at the end of the day, there could be a time where she might be ill. What happens?
There may be a time where she's abroad. You don't want to be living on takeaway.
That is if you have takeaways in that area.
Well, we are in 2017, so takeaways are quite easily accessible.
Not everywhere, not in my village.
You're in a village?
Not in my village.
What village are you in?
Akwabo. Where we cook amala. Not in my village. There are no takeaways in my village.
Yes.
Although I can go and eat at my auntie's place.
Again, relying on the women.
How about my uncle's house?
You will be making it at your uncle's house.
Yeah. So Lola, I do believe that one thing that we need to know, one, the women role within our community is changing. One, they're taking on more work than they used to do. Childbearing is not the only task that women now, and nursing a baby is not the only role that women perform.
No, and I feel this might be controversial, but I feel as if women are taking on more and men's workload is reducing. So whilst we are accumulating more,
it's not necessarily reducing. I will not say it's reducing.
It's staying the same. We're accumulating more and more responsibilities, but the man's responsibilities, traditional responsibilities, remain the same.
No, it's because your responsibility is changing.
But their responsibility is maintained, and
it's not men's responsibility. It's not maintained. Everything is changing.
Everything is changing for the woman. For the man, it's a choice. He can sit back and think, "I'm not going to help you."
I disagree.
Not with cooking, not with cleaning. It's not a role for
that
me to do.
That is
but
wrong.
A woman can't sit back and say, "I'm not going to go to work." Bills need to be paid. A roof needs to be kept over your family's head. Whereas a man can make that choice. She's not here.
I disagree.
I'm not going to cook.
I disagree.
You don't think a man can make a choice as to whether or not he wants to cleaning?
I think if a man then makes that choice, I think it's wrong. Because
but they can make the choice.
I don't think they should.
But they can make the choice.
Why must they?
But if they wanted to, they can make the choice.
Why must they?
I'm not saying they should.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not agreeing with that. But if they wanted to make the choice,
they
could.
No, I don't think they should. You see,
not should.
Lola,
they could make that choice.
That is wrong. If that is wrong, because if the society,
you're understanding what I'm saying, Frank. What I'm saying is, for a woman, our traditional roles have changed because we don't have an option, and most of us are happy anyway because we don't just want to be confined to housework, looking after the children. We want to work, we want to pursue our own careers. But for a lot of us, we know that it's also essential. If we don't pursue a career and earn our own money, how are we going to support our families and how are we going to maintain a roof over our heads? Bills need to be paid. Whereas for a man who has always traditionally worked, it's an option whether or not they want to then go into roles which have traditionally been preserved for women, so maintaining the home, helping out more and taking a more active position with cooking and doing household chores. Whereas for a woman, she can't just sit back if the economic pressures won't allow it and say that she's not going to go to work.
No. She can also choose. If the argument is that the man can choose not to do certain like cooking and other, then the woman also can choose not to work and say, okay, traditionally you must be the provider.
But the detrimental effect that will have, if the man decides not to cook, what's the worst that can happen? He starves.
She can go hungry, and the woman can go hungry. Kids can go hungry. So I think
the detrimental effect though of the woman deciding that she's not going to work and the man being the sole breadwinner.
Because don't forget, a man traditionally was the breadwinner. So if you married a woman in that our African, don't forget, listener, we're discussing this within the context of our background where we come from. Men are looked at as people who must provide for the family. Okay? Traditionally. So if that is a role that the man assumed or culturally was assigned to the man, then we also assign certain roles to the woman traditionally. Now that those dynamics are changing because culture is evolving, pressures are coming from all over. The kind of work and the type of work we do changing. The kind of jobs we do and everything, even for the man and the woman, is changing. It then calls for a change in the rules and how we perform that role. Okay.
And those changes have been adjusted to more by women, and men adjusting to those changes are at a lower rate than the women who have had to assume.
I totally agree with you that women have been very good, and that's why you people are, you control the world. I salute women that they have taken on the responsibility and have adapted to those changing more quickly than the men have. Accept that women are ready to work than men are. Most women are ready to cook, but don't forget, I'm not generalizing because men are good cooks. The best chefs on this earth are men. Just get that straight. The best chefs.
We've got Nigella.
The best chefs.
We've got Mary Berry.
Okay, but the best chefs are men. But Laura, the point I'm trying to make on this is that culturally, or culture, which is defined the way a group of people live, has actually imposed certain responsibilities on a family as we speak.
Definitely.
Now, those responsibilities are different from this responsibility on a man and a woman, or the responsibility of women and a woman faced 50 years down the line.
We say that, but I know from what I've seen around me firsthand into relationships.
What have you seen?
I've seen relationships where the roles in terms of cooking, I don't know why cooking is such a major problem and is something that is being very slowly adjusted to, but I've seen in relationships it's clearly defined that it's the woman's responsibility to cook. So her man should not be in the kitchen. Once the woman gets back from work,
what's your hobby?
She needs to go and cook.
What's your hobby?
My hobby is definitely not cooking.
But what's your hobby?
I have different hobbies.
One of my hobbies and my favorite hobbies is cooking.
That's quite rare for a African
because
man.
Because my dad loves cooking.
So I think that's been passed down onto you. What we can see sometimes is in a family, a man, whilst he's a son and a younger boy, is taught to not go into the kitchen to cook. That's not his role. So for instance, if he is with his siblings who are females and the mum's in the kitchen, she'll call the daughters into the kitchen to help her, but the son is out of bounds for him. He's not coming in. He shouldn't be in that territory. And then that will then be passed down generation by generation. When does that change come? Where do the attitudes towards that role shift?
And that's where we need to actually appreciate the fact that we're changing as a society. And we must not be dogmatic. We must not just say that this is how my father used to do it. If I tell you the story of my father, it's different. The story of your father is different from the story of Pastor Emmanuel Chidi. It's different from the story of Felix, Captain Felix. My dad will come home when my mom is in and the food is ready fine. But when my dad gets home and there's no food, my mom is not around, he doesn't wait for my mom. The kids will be hungry. So he gets into the kitchen and cook. Besides, we all have our bad days. So if I get home, I'm not saying this on air, but people who know me personally, that's what I do. If I get home and there's no food, I don't ask you why haven't you cooked. I go into the kitchen and always I say kitchen speaks to me. I get into the kitchen. I might not be the best cook, but at least I'll be able to do something for us to eat.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And I don't know how to put it, but I really think that one, we must accept the fact that those days are gone.
Yeah.
Two, we must accept the fact that now women have taken on more responsibilities. Three, we must accept the fact that the dynamics of the economy and other things are putting pressure on both, and then we're gonna complement each other if really we want to. So I tell my women out there that, listen, if a man comes to you and tells you, I don't know how to cook, well, help them know how to cook.
Yeah.
We know women who don't even know how to cook.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I think you know why I'm laughing.
Why are you laughing?
The conversation we were having just before we came on air, where a relative suggested that I take some cookery lessons.
So a relative was asking you to take cookery lesson.
And guess why? Not for my own personal benefit and to, perhaps develop a hobby of cooking, but to ensure that when it comes to time for me to settle down and find a husband, my cooking is up to scratch. When I'm looking to settle down and find a husband, I'd like to think that there's more important things that he's evaluating rather than my cooking abilities. Because for me, personally, I think for a relationship to work, the basis of the relationship is not cooking. The basis of the relationship is having mutual respect and care for each other, that sense of generosity, wanting to complement each other's skills and qualities, and being able to compromise in situations where, like you've mentioned, you can come home and there's no food and you're willing to go into the kitchen to help. I don't necessarily think being a 10 out of 10 cook is what makes a woman attractive.
Your cousin or the relative might not be saying that with a bad mindset.
Oh no, it definitely wasn't coming from a spiteful way.
Probably what he was trying to say, if I can
it was a she.
Probably she thinks that you add a bit of more salt than she does.
I mean,
or probably I hope you haven't cooked peanuts by putting peanuts in a soup.
I'm not gonna
without a peanut paste.
I'm not gonna say that I'm an amazing cook,
but you can cook.
Well, I don't think she liked the particular dish that she tried, perhaps. But I don't think I'm bad at cooking.
Okay, I think this is how I look at it. I think both parties must know how to cook. I'm not saying that be Gordon Ramsay.
No, but know how to put a dish together and
know how to put a dish together, because I mean, assuming you are even married, let's say Obahima, let's say I'm married to Obahima,
To a what?
Obahima is a lady who has now joined the show.
Oh,
so assuming I'm married to Oba. I think we've got a caller. Let me pick this. Let me pick this call. We're going to go to the caller in a minute. Caller, just wait for us. We'll put you on air in a minute. Lola, if you put your headphones on.
Okay.
If you put your headphones on, the caller will join us. I think we got a caller online. Yeah, caller. Good evening.
Hi, caller.
Good evening. How are you?
We're doing very well.
Actually, I've been listening to you.
Yes.
Okay.
For some time, but we thought you'd be announcing the line.
Okay.
Or actually, we thought you'd be announcing the number. This is my first time of tuning in.
Okay.
We thought you'd be announcing the number so that we can call and add a word or two to the good job you are doing.
Thank you. Who are we speaking? Who are we speaking to?
Thank you very much. My name is Kofi Ali.
Kofi Ali, great.
Ghanaian.
And I'm calling from London.
Oh, calling from London. Kofi Ali, let's hear you say.
Thank you very much. I've been listening to you.
Yeah.
You are discussing a very wonderful topic.
Yeah.
And what you are doing, which is highly commendable, is looking at how culture is affecting or influencing the way couples, young men and women are struggling with their relationship in this modern world, which is very, very great. This issue is very, very important.
Right.
Because if the homes are breaking, then there is no future for these children. The only challenge is that it will be very helpful. I wrote a book called The Darker Side of Ghana.
The Darker Side of Ghana.
The Darker Side of Ghana, which in a way tries to look at how culture is influencing the way we live.
Okay.
Yes, it really, really was about the culture of Ghana.
Okay.
And how the culture of Ghana is affecting how we do things. But let me come back to what we are discussing this night.
Right.
I heard you said somewhere that culture is dynamic.
Yes.
Very, very important. It's not a static thing. We sometimes, our culture change when we change environment. In most cases, when you are in a particular environment, the way an average child in Ghana will behave, or in Accra or in Ho will behave. When you come to London, the way the children are behaving is different.
Exactly so.
This is what we call cultural change. So the environment is the culture. When the environment is changing, the people will be changing. So an individual that doesn't change, even if you want to change, it's the environment that changed the person.
Right.
And therefore, coming to what you are saying, for example, most of us from the, I would say, the so-called African background, Ghanaian and so on, the environment has already conditioned us to look at women in a certain way.
Right.
The boy child is the one who is supposed to take care of the house. Go to work. The girl child is supposed to be the maid servant. So when we grow with this thing, extended family are looking up to you.
Right.
So you raise the money, you bring up the money, and you do what you are expected to do. So expecting the girl to do certain things. And so if the girl is not working, and that's the problem we have in Ghana today.
Yeah.
So that you all started, you fell in love, not because you have got money and she's hungry, and then you were bringing, you were building a house together. Then when one is not there, you understand, the other automatically own the property with the children.
Yeah.
And another area where there is concern, if both of you are not paying, the woman is a housewife, she's sitting down because there are no jobs for women, then you tend to have a problem. Instead of you knowing that your love and the property you are putting together, it is what keeps you. So when there's a problem, you always find a way of solving it between the two of you. But when the man has worked all his life, and he has raised money, he has done everything, now the girl is coming in, especially when there is no job. So she's at home, and when she's working, she's seriously not contributing. And the family then tend to look at that man, that he is part of them. You live with your uncle, you do this. So when you grow, you see women in a different way. Now when you come to Europe, as soon as you get a property and you get the woman, before you know, you are telling her to leave. Any little thing, you tell her to leave because it's about you. It's not about the two of you. See, so this is where there are cultural clash. Why we tend to have a problem is that this is very important. But we discover that when there is technology and there is development, the environment automatically will change because culture, the people are. If you look at Ghana, when I was young, and you go back to Ghana, you see that because of television and so on, the children are changing. But poverty is not allowing them to be free.
Okay.
I don't know whether you see where we are coming.
Yeah.
So, and then the family tradition, because we have the chiefs and then the institutions that are enforcing the old laws. It is becoming difficult for children to move. The children are seeing what is happening in Europe and America, and they want to move. But it's difficult.
Yeah.
So if we are looking at the discussion in this context, then we will see what we can do about that culture.
Okay.
And then we will understand the importance that, look, industrialization, because in an area where there's industrialization, if you have washing machine and there's a gas cooker at home or this cooker at home or food, it's not difficult for a man to do something.
Yeah.
If you want to do something. He can even feed himself and feed the children.
Yeah.
There's the car. The girl has gone to work, you go and drop the children and so on. But your background then will start. But when the technology is not there, even in Ghana, those who have got access to these things I'm talking about, the way they relate with their wives is different from those who are still in their crude form. So somehow the culture, and when we come here, especially when you are mature, before you move into this culture, my brother, marriage is difficult. It's difficult because when you are only thinking about family, and every day you are suspecting your woman, thinking she's also sending money to someone. How can marriage?
Mother Kofi Ali, let me ask you this. You mentioned that I might say it's a wonderful contribution that you brought, especially the issue about ownership of assets, which is a very, very serious area now that we have to. I know Ghana will have a law that was passed in 1990s. The other communities that have not passed those laws and will urge them to about ownership of what the assets that have been accumulated during marriages, what belongs to the woman, and sometimes and most often when the man is gone, the families, and we see this in Nigerian movies and other things, the family will go and take control of her and sometimes drive the woman away as if she basically came to serve the man. Now there's one area I want to find out from you. During your research, before you came out with your book, what did you find that there's a confusion between what culture is and what tradition is?
Well, I noted that culture and tradition, you see, culture, the way we are looking at culture is the reason why we have a problem with culture.
Okay.
There are about 140 something different definition of culture.
Right.
But unfortunately, we only use one. Culture is the way of people living and it's finished. That is what the typical way the West Africans think. There are 140, and some of them are fundamentally even different from themselves.
Yeah.
So tradition is one of the strands of culture. I came up with what you call the 5 because I was trying to look at what is inside the culture that is causing a problem. Why are people in particular area do something and another people in another area cannot do it? Because I was looking at challenges to development and industrialization. So I noticed that culture is made up of 5 key components. I call them the cultural element. And I said politics, number 1. Politics, laws, institutions, history, and tradition.
Right.
These 5 things. Anyone who wants to change any culture, you change those things. All the people you see behind what we call culture, you understand? Either we are looking at it from the perspective of tradition or not, they are politicians. Let me give you a good example. Do you know that most of us think tradition means what people do in the past? Is that not true?
Yeah, sometimes that's how people perceive it.
That is what but it's wrong.
Yeah.
Let me give you a good example. I I understand tradition to be an established system, a way of doing things within a culture that everyone follow, because you don't want people to be confused. You want them to be thinking of the same thing at the same time, because it's about dealing with survival. Let me give you an example. You know, we have a tradition like Independence Day. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Independence Day in Ghana, we observe it whether we like it or not when the day comes.
It becomes something like has been instituted.
It's like you are going to Asafu, where they do the Doba. It is something that happened in the past, and to remember that event, like they said, what do you call it? Most of the Ghana Omoho thing. Yeah, if you check, it has a historical this thing. The airways when they ran away from Dahomey. Wicked kid. Good. There is a history behind it. Now, take the case of the Muslims. The Muslims pray 5 times a day, isn't it?
They do.
It's a tradition.
And even workplaces in modern days, people develop traditions within. I mean, when we come in the morning, this is what we do. This is what we're gonna do. They all become.
You can see, so there's workplace tradition.
Yeah.
So tradition is so culture is not an old way of doing things.
Yeah.
Culture is just the way the people are trying to survive. For example, if I and my son we live in the Kalahari Desert and we go out one day and the lion ate one of my children. Yeah. The next time, naturally, I want to defend my next child when we go out.
Yeah.
So I'll look for a tool to defend myself. That tool, maybe it's a sharpened wood. Initially, I used wood to hit the lion.
Yeah.
It didn't work. The next time, I will use a sharp wood.
You learn
that sharp
from
wood then become my tool. So I'm improving on it. So my definition of a culture is that is the way people do things that make them do it better.
Okay. Now let me, Mr. Ali.
Their environmental circumstances.
Okay, Mr. Ali. Let me bring you back to the main topic which is the changing role of women. Now, do you think, as a society, as an African Caribbean society, we have done enough? You are a man. We have done enough to actually embrace the dynamics within our culture and have helped women to change and respect the new rules that they are taking on. And men, have we actually started playing our roles to complement what they are doing? Do you think we've changed enough?
Sorry, what I can say here is that it depends on the environment that you are looking at.
Okay.
If we are looking at the United Kingdom, you understand? We are talking about first generation migrants of men and possibly women.
Okay.
First generation migrant, because they have a different cultural background, they will struggle. You can't just bring somebody from Ghana into London and you want him to know everything overnight. It doesn't work that way. Now, these people are giving birth to children. And those children are going to school and they are playing with their colleagues. This next generation are going to get married. You understand?
Yeah.
Their accent change, their everything change. So they'll be marrying children that are born here. So those children will grow. When they grow, the next generation after them are those who have to be exactly what, because they'll be doing exactly what is done here. You understand? There's nothing like your mother will go to the next house and look for a girl and come and tell you, go marry this girl. you understand?
Yeah.
The first generation always have that problem because the girl they gave birth to is confused. Though she went to school, the mother is saying one thing, she's thinking like some. You see, there's confusion. The mother is always fighting with the child. You didn't do this. You went out. You're even working with boys. You don't like it. The children they bring out in Europe here, they are teaching the children. They don't even call their wives my wife. Now she's a partner. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
And I heard you use that word.
Yeah, I use it. Yeah.
You can't go out and say that's my husband. They feel it is limiting. So they use the word partner.
Because your partner, whatever we have is a partnership.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
You are partnership. So you are in a relationship where there's no master and slave. Do you understand? You can't come and raise your leg. Most of us are having a problem with our own children because of the way we want to bring them up. My father beat me in Africa. I'll beat any child who doesn't listen. This is what we are doing. Then the children go to their husband's home or wife's home, and you see they start beating themselves.
What will be your ultimate advice to men like yourself, myself, who have come or who are not actually appreciating that change? For instance, we come home, we expect women to be cooking. When we have all gone to do cleaning and we are back. We've all gone to work and we are back.
Yeah, you see, with our generation, normally, someone like me, even I don't think God has a plan to change me. We have grown. We are like old bone, old soldier. It's very difficult to bend them.
So you are the one who expects your food on your table.
Me?
Yeah.
People like myself cannot even live with the women. Every day we do with them, we fight with them and we fight. So I'm not a good advisor on this issue.
Okay.
But I'm an activist.
Okay.
And as a politician and an activist, I understand where the problem is. Our job is to prepare the next generation. Marriage, you see, in our tradition, let me use the word tradition, our way of doing things culturally, they prepare the boy for marriage. So we have been prepared for marriage already. That is when you come home, you put your leg up there and the woman put everything on your table. That one, in fact, it is difficult to remove it from us. A lot of my friends are having problems. I'll go to the house to solve it for them. However, our children they are not too late. And besides, I have a friend, I went to his house one day and he told his son that do something for me. And the boy said, "Pardon, what did you say?" He said, can you repeat it? Because my friend saw me there, he wanted to show me that his children are not wayward. You understand?
Yeah.
And the boy called him to order in front of me. What did you say? Better say please. And the man said please. And then the boy did it. You understand?
Yeah.
The way these children here are brought up is different from the way we are brought up.
Yeah.
They turn around and say, if he's at home, that I will deal with him. I say, let us get home first.
Okay.
This one is here.
Okay, Mr. Kofi Ali, I think my colleague wants to ask you a question, but I'm going to throw an invitation to you. Next week, we're continuing this topic, and we're going to speak to you often. We would love to have you seated in the studio when we explore this topic.
Yes.
And I'm going to say there are a few people who have... Iralusi have joined us. Rookie has joined us. I'm going to see if Rookie will also be interested in joining this conversation next week. Okay, go with your question,
Okay.
Lola.
Kofi, so I just wanted to ask, because you said you think for those in your generation it's too late, but for children of people your age and the current generation it's not too late. However, being a young lady myself and speaking to those within my age group, they have been conditioned to believe that they don't need to take on roles which are traditionally preserved for women. So I have friends who are very categorically determined to not be cooking, to not be cleaning, and that their role as a man is not to be doing those sort of tasks. And in fact, they find it disrespectful and they think they'll be ridiculed by their family members if they were to let them know that they are helping their wife, partner to cook and clean. And it's something that they've been told that they shouldn't be doing. So how do we address that issue?
Yes, is that, what's the name again, Rookie?
Lola.
Laura, thank you very much. What is happening here is that I always advise when you go out to look for partners, try to get those who are born here. They don't have that problem. Moreover, do what a girlfriend of mine did with me the last time, and I left her in the middle of the road. When you go out shopping, give everything to the man to carry. Intentionally do it. If he says no, that is not a good partner. Do you understand me?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yes, okay.
When he says no, do not go, because that one will let you down when it gets to the heat.
I think it's important.
When I went out with a girlfriend of mine, one way or the other, she went to buy a lot of things. I drove and then we got there and then I picked her. When we get to the next place, we came out and she gave me the big bag to carry. And I look at her, what? Where you come from? We don't carry the bag. The woman carry the bag.
That we need to show the listeners that video.
Until tomorrow, anytime she call me, I don't want to talk to her. Now, you see, that is the fault with us. Always look for a man that is ready to listen to you.
So we look at how to find out who you are compatible with. We're talking about compatibility and complement. I mean, who can complement? Yeah.
But Kofi, I don't think it's necessarily those that are born here, because I've spoken to those born here, born and raised here, and they still have these same attitudes and still have these same views.
Well, those who are born and raised here, a lot of them, it's the whole thing. Relationship is about how the two work things out. It's very important. And always remember, in this country, your partner can ruin you. Seriously, because it's about commitment. How do you pay your mortgage? How do you raise your children? How do you go to work when the other partner is ready to go the extra mile? So it is left to the girl child. That's the advice. The only thing, you must go and find that man. Is out there. You can always see them. Get one that you are comfortable with. Sometimes we tell them, don't bother yourself too much about the racial issue. You just look for the one that is working with you, whichever race the person comes from. As long as you are all here, there is a future. Some of us, let me tell you what some of us are doing. We are busy building houses in Ghana. The wife is building her own in Nigeria. Me, I'm building my own in Ghana. What are we going to be doing that fighting? Where are we going to retire? Where are we going to retire? So, there's no the future between us.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to bring up is that, it's a very complicated thing. But for our generation, the next generation, they are not going to anywhere. They are comfortable. This is their home. And I always encourage the children to embrace the community where they found themselves and work hard to excel.
Okay.
They should leave that other place for us. We are born there and we will solve the problem there. But here, they must find to put themselves in the right places so that our effort as the migrants who came will not be in vain. We believe in them and they must believe in themselves.
Thank you, Kofi. Lola will speak to you after the program. We'll look at working something with you. That has been a wonderful contribution from Kofi Ali.
Thank you so much, Kofi.
A passionate submission. I must say, I love it. Thank you very much, Kofi, and have a wonderful evening. But Lola will speak to you off air. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go. I think we're going to show the video now.
Yes,
it's actually a video, and I think those on the app and those on TuneIn, we're going to go a bit silence over there, but bear with us. The viewers on Facebook, YouTube, Smart View TV, Dailymotion, and Twitch. You are going to be watching this video as we speak. It speaks about it's in a traditional setting. Let's go for
volumes.
It speaks volumes. Let's go for it, and we will come back. Let me see if we got a video here. Very short one, a very short one. It was. Someone said, let's play it again. We'll play it one more time, Lola. Okay. Let's just play the video one more time, and then we come back to wrap. Right, Lola, let's come back. Yeah, that's a video that actually is taken from Ghana, and what we saw for viewers who were watching it on all the other platforms, we saw a woman who, like Kofi Ali was, this is a traditional setting. So this a woman who is carrying, they've closed from farm, they've gone to farm. I'm trying to give a picture of it for those who are on our app and see live and streamer and tune in who couldn't listen to it. This is a woman with coming from a farm with the husband. The woman is pregnant. The woman is carrying
a baby on her back.
Has a baby on her back.
Has a younger son next to her.
A younger son next to her.
Has a bowl of fruit on her head.
Firewood and plantain.
A heavy looking bowl.
Okay, so
heavily pregnant.
Heavily pregnant. A baby at the back.
One on the side.
One on the side. Carrying firewood. Okay. Now,
and the man is at the back.
The man is at the back holding his cutlass.
Log, yeah.
Holding his cutlass or something, and then walking behind the woman.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, listeners out there, viewers out there, especially if you are actually following us on Facebook, would like to take your comments on that. What do you think about that video?
Do you think it's an accurate representation of the balance between the traditional African women role and traditional African male role?
I must say though that's why I said first that we cannot look at some of these issues without bringing the context into play. Within that environment, what will be said of a man or even the woman? How would the society perceive that woman if they find that the man is carrying firewood? What would the community? Do men carry firewood? Do they see it as a taboo?
He may be ridiculed. He may be.
Are you get me? So we need to look at the setting and the context within which that is taking place.
Yeah.
Now, but Kofi Ali made mention of something which is very, very critical over here. If you look at that video, the young boy who is walking, holding the mom, seeing what the mom is doing, and learning what the dad is doing. Lola, assuming the boy now, you go and get this man, you meet somewhere in Spain, probably travel, or you go to Ghana on holiday, and you meet him and then get married to him, right? Do you expect him, right, to be different, too much different from the father?
That's the thing. When Kofi Ali mentioned that those born and raised here are the generation that will be able to change and adjust to the differing roles, I didn't necessarily believe that, because I know from my experience speaking to those that are born and raised here that because of what they've been taught at home from the first generation, their views are very much the same. It doesn't matter that they've been born and raised here. They've seen what the traditional roles have been and how.
But increasingly it's changing. I think we got a comment from Gladys. Gladys is saying, but this is how they are, so-called man. So Gladys is saying that, I mean, this is how men are. So basically, Gladys is saying that we're not changing. Gladys, some of us are changing, you know.
I agree with you.
Gladys, some of us have changed, you know.
I completely agree with you, Gladys.
Yeah, some of us are changed. I know it's going to take time. It's going to take time, but we need to push towards that change. I do, because if, for instance, women activists see this, they're going to condemn me straight. I will not accept this practice, okay? But we cannot condemn them totally.
I think a small proportion of men are adjusting very quickly to this.
But we are not adjusting enough. We're not doing it quickly enough. That's what you're trying to tell us, you and Gladys.
Yeah, I think overall the pace needs to be higher. We need more. But I do think a small portion of men have really adjusted to this well, and hopefully they can just take the lead and be an example for others who are struggling. I don't think people are taking on the roles that women have traditionally been assumed to take, because they believe that their wife will be taking advantage of them. They'll be ridiculed by family members. I do have people who have told me that if, for instance, they found their parents found out that their wife is not cooking for them, and they're in the kitchen, that their parents will think.
So look at the pressure from the community, pressure from the society.
Yes, the perception of how it's going to be viewed, and also the fact that it makes the woman look as if she's taking advantage of the man. So yes, it is also not necessarily.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? What will you think of a man washing a lady's pants?
Okay, I think the lady can do that herself. And we have washing machines.
How about if she's sick?
Perhaps that's a bit different. I mean, we do have washing machines, but I suppose, are you talking about not in this society?
Okay, let's call it about generally. Do you think men should be washing women clothes?
In a washing machine, yes.
How about where there's no washing machine?
Hand wash. If they're going to wash everything, then yes, why not?
Okay, do you think women should wash women clothes? Women should wash men clothes.
If their family are pitching in together to hand wash clothes, which they can't put in a washing machine because they don't have access to that, there's no issue with that for me. This is all about.
But you see how easily it was for you to accept the fact that women can easily and should easily wash men's clothes, but you find it difficult accepting the fact that men can wash women's pants.
It wasn't.
So even though we live in this community, you have fully not changed yourself.
That's two different things.
No,
a woman, you said wash a man's clothes.
A
man, you said wash a woman's pants.
Okay, do you think it's right for women to wash men's pants?
Again, I feel like pants are quite a personal thing, and that's something that owner should wash themselves.
Gladys is saying they will say it's taboo.
With pants, I'm just feeling a bit like everyone should take their individual responsibility for their own knickers. I don't know. I just think each owner should just wash their.
Oh well, we'll leave it to them. We'll leave the debate for the listeners to. But before we go, Lola, what I think, we'll continue this topic next week. We're going to speak to Kofi Ali and a few people to see if we can have a more perspective to this topic. Mavis has also just sent a comment. Mavis is saying, I thought we are in a modern world. That things are different now. I was very sad when I saw the video. So, well, Mavis, that's a good one. She's very sad. That's how people feel when they say it. But Mavis, don't be sad. You need to look at the context from where this video was. We did not describe the location.
Where was the location?
This is in Ghana, but it should be a traditional setting. It should be in a village somewhere.
The pace of their change will be different to somewhere more modern.
The other thing I would like to ask again, and I would like to add is, how far are we inculcating these changes or incorporating them, infusing them into our educational system, so that if that man who was walking behind the woman had actually at least educated himself up to class 6, the primary level, call it stage 6, right? At least he should know a little bit about the changing rules, and that these are what he used to do. This is what we're doing now. It's a Gladys a village men act. I love that.
Gladys is on a roll.
Yes, I love that, the village men act. I think we should go a little bit further by looking at how best we can even inform our educational system to start changing some of these things.
So that if necessarily the education isn't happening in the home from parents, that it's also happening externally. And if someone will be challenged by outsiders in the community saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, your wife is taking advantage of you, they have the education, they've been equipped with the knowledge to know that it's just a case of partnership and being able to share roles between you to work to the best of your abilities, rather than overloading responsibilities onto one party whilst the other is taking a more relaxed role and approach.
Is it the other thing is, like the video we just saw, let's look at it this way. Assuming you're married to this woman, and this to the men who are listening and watching, they say men need for sex. Men feel for sex about 5 to 6 times a week. Whereas almost about
that.
72 hours, men are looking within. They have to, or they do. I'm not saying they have it, but that naturally that's what. When women about 2 to 3 times a week. Now I'm looking at a situation where, assuming this was your wife, right? The video we just saw. You come home, and from what you saw, it means that when they get home, the man will either look for a palm wine joint and start drinking, when the woman will now have to go into the kitchen
to
cook, bath the children, serve the man. Some will even finish eating,
they're not washing the dishes.
No, they even will wait for the woman to come and collect
their dish. They won't take it to the kitchen sink.
To a point where some will even expect that the woman should fetch water
so they can wash their hands.
Take it to the bathroom for the man. The man will go and bath. Then all this, when they finish, they get home, they get into the bedroom. The man still wants to have sex, but the woman is tired. So the way you say African women are not good in bed. How can she be good in bed when she's tired? No, seriously, when she's tired.
The expectations are just a bit too unrealistic for me. It's just unfair, and I feel like, yes, women are able to multitask and we're very powerful and we can take on various responsibilities, but there does have to be a balance here. And there also has to be a sense of equality between the two of you.
That word equality is an animal. The more you say equality, it brings a whole activism and other things to context.
Yeah,
I think we just have to.
Feminist.
Yeah, I think we just have to understand that we are partners in whatever we're doing.
Partnership.
And if, for instance, especially if we're talking about a relationship here, if you claim to love someone, you don't want to be punishing the person. And from the video that we saw, I think it's punishment. But the other question, does he see it as punishing the woman?
That's what he's been taught.
That is where education comes in. That how do we get our educational system to start teaching us some of these reversal rules? That, listen, we are no more in the 18th century, we are no more in the First World War time. That technology, like Ali said, have brought some changes and we must adapt. Gladys has just sent another comment which I love. It's education and the churches should contribute to, because Africans believe everything that the preachers. Yeah, I agree with them. So the education over here should just not be the formal sector. We should look at where we meet, the churches, our communities, every less opportunity that we can get. Well, I think we should be talking more about some of these issues. Lula.
Yeah, I mean, religion does touch on the different roles between male and female.
Right.
I think it's got more of a angle where it says that women should be submissive to men, so perhaps therein lies some of the problem.
You're talking about the Bible, which says women should be submissive to men.
There are some areas.
Yeah, but again, the Bible also shows that that men and women are joint heirs. So what does that mean? Joint heirs. It means they are equal. You are someone who inherits something, right? So if the Bible says they are joint heirs, yes, it says women should be submissive. Yes, I agree with that. But again, if you read on it, says women and men are joint heirs. What does it mean? It means that whatever we're going to inherit, which is the goods that God has blessed us with, we are equal partners in that.
And it also says that a man should honor his woman.
That is it. Although it again describe the woman as a weak, because of the way they are built, which is a God-given natural rule. Like I can carry a pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
Women carry. That's a natural rule that God has given us. So this is concluding. This is what I think. Things that are natural, we can't do anything about them.
They're static, yes.
But things that we have learned over time,
conditioned to believe,
culture and other, we should begin looking at where we can change for the better.
Adapting our mindset,
and changing and look for ways that we can pass on, I mean, the better aspect and part of it to the next generation after us. Because I know we didn't touch a lot about education. Because if you even go to traditional setup, when a man, if I did a research on dropout rates among school children, and you found out that one of my dissertation was in Darford, and during the research it came clear that when a family is confronted with resources allocation, when it comes to household economics, and they have to look at who do they send to school, the obvious choice that they make, if they have a man and a woman or a boy and a girl, they tend to favor, or they take decision in favor of the boy. Okay, so they will say, so it doesn't matter the intellectual ability or how brilliant the girl is. Naturally they will say a boy should go whilst the man stays, the woman stays out. So probably next week we'll touch on some of those areas, and
we'll have our guests.
And I would like to say big thank you to Gladys, Portia, Mavis, Ohima, Pasaima, Ohiniba Center, Doreen, Dada, Felix, Iralusi, Rookie, my own sweetheart, Rookie. It's a lady I've known for some time now. She's angry with me though now. So, Rookie, hey, any last word from you, Lola?
I'm just looking forward to the show next week, and I think it was good for us to get the ball rolling with this topic.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it. And listeners, until next week, we're going to say have a lovely week. We're going to play the video once again, and then when we play the video, that'll be us saying good night. Oh, hold on. You guys are doing okay, thank you. That is Gladys again. Say you guys are doing a great job here. Love this. Hopefully our African men can change the man. Gladys, some of us have changed. I must admit, and those who know me personally, I will not blame my own horns. I know I've changed, because cooking is one of my hobbies. I do. You know, I used to cook, and my ladies' friends will come to my home almost every month. I used to do it once and invite them in, and they love my food.
Hopefully Gladys isn't putting you under that bracket of the men that need to
Gladys, I'd love to host Gladys one day to my roast potato and some, a little bit. I'm not going to give it away. Gladys will talk behind the scenes. All right, thank you so much. All right.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the finest Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Thanks for listening. 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 Thanks for listening.
Adults music. That's all.
Hey, I, ooh, me day, I do, me day, I do, You bring me a day, and then you make me new betty a groovy. One time I game, fama to a bram. Na found a granuma soon. Hope it to be, but you be on it all. Me and mine, about your soul, go in and walk on a canade, a baby. It just said in the morning, no day, no amateur. Uday never fall. Imama kuma kondo. Oh yeah before. Oh take that yeah me told. Yeah me told. Number 4 says to come on. Oh yeah before.
While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
And you know the two I will put the army day, my sister. Ya baba se, inti persuasion, this is so. I'm in the good to know more. What do you do when I'm in the queue? The best last, oh, ma. Oh, no. Oh, me too. Mama, come on, condo. Oh, yeah, me for. Oh, take me too. Oh, take me for. Tell my friends as we come on. You know, yeah. If I want me, I will send you. Call you better, me too.
Oh baby, wait. Me have a different plan for we popping on this place. I want to massage you from top to toe. Me make you rhythm, while you sit there. Yako, baby, yako, get back on the beat. Can you do for me and you pay? I agree, me pay any baby. Me need your baby, and to me and baby. The man I any do, any do. No get a whipped cream. I miss so much it yet them make it a whiskey. Don't want no stress, you want to wine and dine with me. And after that you want to bump and grind with me. Grind with me. Oh, no man, we go. Hey. Oh, no man, we sit you in the situation. Oh, no man, we go.
Ya baba se, inti persuasion this is so. I'm in the good to know more. What do you do when I'm in the queue? The best last, oh, ma. Oh, no. Oh, me too. Mama, come on, condo. Oh, yeah, me for. Oh, take me too. Oh, take me for. Tell my friends as we come on. You know, yeah. me. Fabe wasani. Koya bada me
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Hello there, this is CJ Park. Whenever I'm in London, my God, I only listen to Starr Radio UK. And you know what? I take it with me wherever I go. When I'm in Africa, when I'm in America, wherever I go, I listen to Starr Radio UK. You know why? Because you can download the app right now for free. Get on the web and download it now and listen to Starr Radio, your finest Afro-Caribbean station in the world.
No get a whipped cream. I miss so much it yet them make it a whiskey. Don't want no stress, you want to wine and dine with me. And after that you want to bump and grind with me. Grind with me.